Today I want to show you what you need in a sewing machine to begin sewing. You really don't need a lot of bells and whistles. If you want all of that, certainly fine to have, but you really just need to be able to sew a straight stitch, a zigzag stitch, and a buttonhole. Most basic sewing machines include these features, along with some other features or different decorative stitches. This is a very basic, beginner-friendly sewing machine from Baby Lock. This current model has been replaced by the Zest, but this was the model that I originally got for this purpose of just doing straight and zigzag stitching. It's fantastic. It has metal parts and it has been going for well over 10 years now. So let me just walk you through the process of setting up your sewing machine and kind of show you the things that you need. The first thing that you want to do with your sewing machine is insert a needle. There are many different needles. Don't feel overwhelmed. You can use a universal needle, which is great for many projects. Or if you know you're going to sew with stretch fabrics, you could use a stretch needle. And if you know you're going to be making bags, you could use a vinyl needle if you're going to be using vinyl or heavier fabric. I'm just going to insert a stretch needle for now. To do so, you're going to take your needle and you're going to insert it right into the needle base here. It will just slide right up. And then while you hold it, you can just tighten the screw and that will secure it in place. Other machine and models might have a little different system. You might actually need to use a screwdriver to loosen the screw and then insert the needle and then tighten it. So just reference your manual to your sewing machine and follow those instructions. The next thing you want to do is to put on your sewing foot. So you'll have quite a few options of different sewing feet, and these all do different things. This is like the universal foot, and it's going to allow me to do a straight stitch as well as a zigzag stitch. So to attach my foot, I am just going to lift my presser foot lever just slightly to get it under there and then lower it on that bar, and that catches it, and now it's on. To release it, there's a lever back here that I just push and it falls right off. It's very easy. So just lower it on, and there we go. Another common sewing machine foot is a zipper foot, which allows you to sew close to a zipper. And the other one is a buttonhole foot. Those look different depending on the machine you purchase, but they all do sort of the same basic function. So they're just going to help you to sew a buttonhole into your fabric in the correct length that you need. So you can reference your manual on how to do that or watch a video later in this series. But I'm just going to set those extra feet to the side for now. My sewing machine came with lots of different feet, and some of them I haven't even tried yet, so I will be digging through the bag of different sewing feet and trying them out so that you can also see all the fun things that your sewing machine can do. So the next thing I want to do is just kind of show you what the different things on your sewing machine are. You have your hand wheel. This allows you to operate the needle up and down with your hand. This is great for when you're starting to sew. You can put your needle into your fabric and then begin. You would want your presser foot down for that. It is great to use when you're going around corners or tricky spots where you really need accurate stitches. This is our backward stitch. So when you start sewing, you're going to put a few stitches in, and then you're going to hold down your back stitch and go backward a couple stitches to lock your stitches in place. We have our stitch length. This is going to be how long apart each stitch is. Stitch selector allows you to choose what type of stitches you're going to be doing. So for me, I have the straight stitch, and then I have in between the B and C are my zigzag stitches, and this shows you how large they're going to be or how wide apart they're going to be. And then this is the distance from one stitch to the next. These are my buttonhole stitches, and then these are the kind of different options that you have as well. We'll get into that more in a further video. Our tension wheel, apply more or less tension depending on what you need for your specific fabric type. We have the pin to put your thread on. we have the bobbin case down here where your bobbin thread will go in. You need to thread your bobbin. You will put your thread cone on the stand, and then you're going to go through this little clip back here. Then you're going to go around this button, and mine has a diagram that shows you which way to go. So you want to start with your bobbin, and bobbins can be metal or plastic, and usually your machine will come with some. And this just has a little rectangle hole there. And you want to go from the spool part up toward the top, okay? Like that. Now, you're gonna just take it while holding it through the top like that and kind of keeping the tail pulled this way. You're going to now turn on your machine, make sure you have your pedal ready to go. And my machine, sorry about that. My machine just has you push over the bobbin like this, and that lets my machine know that I'm winding my bobbin. While holding this top one, I kind of just hold this extra thread because I pulled it. Normally you won't be there, so I go slow at first, letting that just go through my fingers until it's correctly, like threading through here. You can also go ahead and cut off this top piece, and then the machine will do the rest from there. As you can see, the machine's just gonna wind the bobbin for you by itself. This can be loud or quiet depending on your machine, but it is pretty quick. So if you don't wanna have to stop in the middle of your project, you could wind 1 to 2 bobbins in the same color that you'll be using to prevent having to stop and wind a new bobbin. My machine sets itself to actually stop when the bobbin's full. And then I just trim away like that. And now it's ready to insert. Pretty cool, huh? Let's insert our bobbin. Open your bobbin case. However that works on your machine, you can reference your manual. You're going to take your wound bobbin and you're going to place it in with the thread on the left side, and with it here you'll put, there's a little groove in a piece of metal on mine, and you just pull it around that groove and then toward the back. And there's an arrow here that tells me exactly which way I need to go. And then you would just put your casing right back on there. Okay, so a universal thread is great. It's all purpose is what they can be called, or universal. They work for lots of projects, and that's what I use primarily. Okay, so you're just gonna put it on your pin like that, and then slide a cap right here. Then I will just slide a cap to keep it on. Okay. You're going to take your thread and you're going to follow your machine's instructions. Mine goes under, down, up, and then I'm going to need to turn my hand wheel. Now while I'm holding up here, I turn my hand wheel and this little silver hook comes up. You just want to go down and through that, and then down. And there's a little hook down here it hooks on, and then you'll thread it through your needle eye. Then you want to pull it through the little channel on your sewing foot to the back. Now, you want to lower, while using the hand dial, you want to lower the needle into the machine, and then as you raise it out, you will pull the top thread, and you can see it has pulled the bobbin thread up. Now you can use scissors or something small to get that thread pulled all the way through like this. now I have both threads. And then I place those to the back of the machine. Now I am ready to sew. Your machine might have a different process for threading and maybe a different process for inserting your bobbin, but most machines are usually threaded in a similar way. So you can follow the instructions in your manual that came with your sewing machine, and that way you'll know for sure that you are threading your machine correctly. But as you can see, threading and preparing your sewing machine is actually not that bad. It's a pretty easy process. So the next step would be to sew, and we'll do that in another video. If you have any questions, please let me know.